strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life.
Hello, this is Wil the Werewolf. I have a Facebook group now. I started it about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I have one person who has joined me. Yay! So, if you'd like to join me, there is a link in the description below. There's also my Twitter handle and my book and, a description. This story today is about the time that the hunter was hunted. So, sometimes a werewolf is no longer the hunter. His name was Quentin Turner. A fucking Quentin. I mean, no wonder he was a tough guy. Imagine being born with that name. After my, let's say, retirement from my work, which you might remember from some of the earlier episodes, this man had been given the task of hunting me down to remove me as the scourge of humankind that I am. He was one of those trained assassin types, and probably one of the best of those trained assassin types in the world. He was an American ex-military and a real fucking arsehole in real life. Or so I believe. He was powered by ego and arrogance that was almost on a level with my own. Well, almost. I mean, he could not beat me at anything. He was a Jack Reacher just with more ego. Up to now, after the killing of my boss, the chief, and my escape into the wild, by my book, I had been on the move and had been pretty much left alone to live my life. I knew that they knew where I was. They knew when I would be there, and then where I was when I'd be. They had just been keeping an eye on me. The powers that be just knew that if they came at me, the destruction that I would cause could be, and probably would be, massive. I would produce a lot of collateral damage, as they label it. Collateral damage is an excellent way of saying the deaths of a lot of laughably innocent people. There is no one fucking innocent these days. I was purposefully sticking to the big cities and the more urban parts of the globe in my travels. Here I knew they could not as easily attack me. If they did, I would be taking a huge number of humans with me. They were observing, not acting. In my head, I knew that if I did a lot of killing of innocent victims, that the footage of a big fuck-off monster werewolf ripping into crowds of humans, somewhat like a film premise, would be on TV within the next few moments. That would be a little difficult to explain for any government agency. Yes, they had managed to cover up similar events in the past, but that was with my help and support. This time, I would be a nice whistleblower and make up a lot of awful shit about them, releasing me on society and showing the general populace what I actually am. Quentin stood an average man and a half high. He was highly trained and had years of experience in removing the things that governments wanted removing. Well, I mean that he mainly removed the people that the governments wanted to be removed. He was a scary dude. Well, he was for another human. He was just a challenge for me, another thing to enjoy. I must have been a compelling case for this guy. Can you imagine the briefing when he was told of his next assassination? Right. Here we have a werewolf out in the public domain. You have to kill him. But just to add some detail to this werewolf's background, the British government has highly trained him in military shit. He used to work for them as a spy, so he's not only a motherfucking werewolf, but he's also SAS trained, intelligence corps trained, and has years in the field. I would appear to be a bit of a black swan event for Kyle, an outlier from his normal work, not a usual assassination request in his sphere. He must have been given all the information on me regarding the training. He would have known that I had trained with the best and how I did there. I was the best of the best. He would have learnt about my many kills and my history of murder and destruction. I mean, this guy was incredibly brave, or incredibly stupid, or perhaps incredibly both. It would be quite a challenge for him. I hope he's getting paid well. He deserved it if he got me. Pretty unlikely that he would get me though, eh? I was wondering how he was going to do his stuff, how much he knew about me. Did he know I had a roving posit that could watch him invisibly? Did he think that I could be killed by silver and shit like that? The old werewolf tales were utter horseshit. If I bite you, you do not become a werewolf. Fuck that. Why would I give myself any further competition by making more werewolves? Predators do not want to create more predators. That is stupid. It was a Tuesday night when I first noticed him. He was hunting me as though I was a wolf, an animal of the wild. Well, I'm not a wolf, and this was his first mistake. He thought I was a beast to hunt. No, I was the best of both worlds. Sometimes the man, sometimes the beast, mainly both. I knew that the baddies would be following me through the CCTV cameras that are on every building and intersection in this country. There are so many of the fucking things. It was a real eye-opener when I learnt about them in my intel training and when using them in operations. The number of CCTV cameras per person in Great Britain is one of the highest of any country in the world. The cliche here: sheep, like sleeping people, think that the CCTV thing in this country is acceptable because they cannot be being watched all the time by people. Their people think that they are there for their own security. They are lulled into a false sense of that security. Who can be watching the cameras all the time, they think. They imagine that these cameras feeds are having to be viewed by a bunch of bored humans, that these low-paid human watchers are not paying too much attention to those feeds. Why would they? They think that these cameras have to be explicitly chosen and watched, that most of the time the pictures in these cameras that are filming are being ignored. They believe that these feeds are only recorded and then looked at if someone needs to check them out. Say if the local shop gets broken into in the night, they can then look afterwards to check the footage to try and identify the thieves. Oh, and this is the information that your government gives you about those CCTV cameras. Well, I'm afraid that you people have been fed a complete hock of shit. You are being watched if they want to watch you. In fact, they are watching you when they are not interested in you, just in case they become interested in you in the future. Fancy that, huh? There are already various facial recognition software programs out there. You help facilitate their use by using those stupid filters on apps like Snapchat. Yep, using those apps gives them your name and the shape and the measurements of your face to put on their file. Bit dumbass, huh? You give them your identity by sending your friends a picture of you with cute puppy dog ears. Oh, fucking stupid, huh? Kids just do not realise. You adults think the kids are stupid, them giving away their data so fucking easily. If you realise that it is what they are doing, then you open your phone using the facial recognition scanner or the fingerprint scanner. Duh. Oh, and those are only two methods that your face is recorded for the future identification. This information is being sent from all sorts of things that you interact with in your life. ATMs, at the scanners at the airports, etc, etc, etc. Add another, etc. Most people believe that the police can only get your fingerprints if they are ever taken into custody. The same people then use the fingerprint scanner on their phones to open it. As I've said before, fucking unbelievable. Smartphones are for dumb fucks. Other companies steal that very essence of your makeup. The blueprint that constructs you. The DNA that is used to build you. There are companies out there that give you a swab and then tell you about your ancestry, apparently. Companies that take your DNA and check it for any genetic abnormalities or disease. Do you not think that this information is sold on or passed on to others? You give up your very essence, your very identity in the information form. What if, in the future, you have to give your DNA to insurance companies to get a premium? What if you have to give your DNA to get the job you want? They don't employ you because your DNA tells them that you are prone to heart disease or mental health issues, etc., etc. Do you think that the DNA is not then given to the authorities? Do you really think that these companies are not a front for other things? They get your DNA profile, you find out how much Neanderthal you are, you pay them to take away your data. Brilliant. Then at the crime scene, they find DNA. Oh, and what a shock. They have your DNA there. Are you bored yet of me telling you how stupid you are? You shouldn't be. You should be sat there with your gob open and taking this information in and deciding to do something about it. Well, here's more relevant shit you should know. So another thing you are doing that drives me mental is the fact that you now give away all your health data as well. You have your technology measuring your heart rate, your blood pressure, the amount of exercise you do, your sleep, the calories that you consume, loads of various health-related areas that are measured for your information only. I subdue my laughter at the stupid again. Well, it's not just for your information, is it? No, that information is going out there and can be used to see whether or not that you are worth looking after. Do you think that insurance will not be using this data in the future to decide whether or not you get the insurance policy that you require? Do you not think that when presented with the data for medical treatment, the doctor may decide that you're not worth treating due to your lifestyle that you lead? Give up that data, you morons. If you're in Britain, the NHS may just say, he's not worth treating. So, we've talked about facial recognition software that is everywhere. There is also software that can recognize an individual just from their gait and movement. Yes, it can recognize and follow you by having a way of knowing the way that you walk and move. This, combined with your limbs and movement measurements, can easily identify you and allow you to be tracked as you move from place to place under those unused but safety cameras. You are very easily followed and appear as a little bit of data in some algorithm that can locate you when needed. With the huge number of cameras on the streets, you can be found at any time in large conurbations. I am sure that they have better methods to follow you now. I am sure that they have additional software that is watching you now. So you are even more fucked than you were before. They hide behind little acts like the general data protection thingy. It just means that the common people have to be careful with your data. A great way for the people in charge to be able to control it without competition. The bad news is that it's not just limited to follow one person at a time. These things work together and are following and looking for hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people at the same time. I know personally that these software programs are now starting to follow and recognize everyone. Get that? They now follow everyone under the cameras at any point. If you move about under the cameras, you are being measured and watched and identified, and you are possibly fucked in the future. That means that at any point you come under the observation of the cameras, the software does all the measurements and uses those algorithm things that maths aficionados do to sort you from the others. All this watching done by software systems has created a gigantic database. This database is of people that have been differentiated and identified. It can then show where you have been by looking for the measurements that match those they see. They can then see if the person found is of any interest. That kind of makes sense. But you may say those are just a set of parameters. You are recognized as a set of parameters, 10000009435, that can be followed around and about. You may be able to argue that they do not have a name to link to those parameters, but they know for the rest of all time that you spend under Big Brother's eyes where and when the individual 10000009435 has been. What does that mean? Imagine you are taken in for questioning in the future, and during that questioning the software is given your data to recognise you in the name linked to that particular data, if it doesn't already have it. They can now cross-reference the data with things that have happened in the past. So what? Well, those individuals unnamed but known to be involved in naughty things can now be linked to past crimes and caught easily. Even if it isn't a crime that you did, you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yep, all the data that these programs generate is stored. With this stored information, they can then find where you've been over a significant period of time. Is it weeks, months? Maybe it's years. Who knows? I mean, look how you help them out with your GPS on your phone. You are also constantly showing where you are by being triangulated between different mobile masts and satellites. It amazes me that you fucking idiots give away all the most important things about yourself. And these days, that's your data. In order to make yourself feel somewhat better about this new knowledge, you might try to say that you don't do anything wrong. So it doesn't matter that the authorities have this information. You might make the argument that it makes the lives of the general population safer and that we should be grateful for this. No, all of this is fucking ridiculous. Your emails, texts, calls, internet searches and everything you put out there are all being stored and searched for keywords, yet we give it up willingly. We have to give it up in order to exist in the new technological world. So what if the laws change? Look at Poland in 2020. They are now linking homosexuality to paedophilia and making homosexuality unacceptable. So they say that homosexuality is a bad thing after saying it was okay. This was not an issue previously before this bunch of fascist fucks got into power. People in Poland have been quite happily talking about the fact that they are gay online pre-2020. They have been getting married to the same sex pre-2020. They've even been pridefully walking through the streets in a rainbow flag and glittery silver thongs. Trans people have been accepted as legitimate and done their thing to be the person that they want to be. That one time you went on Grindr in Poland just to give gay a go is recorded. These people did not understand that you just wanted to see if dicks were delicious. You tried it once and it wasn't your thing. Oops, in their eyes, one cock is enough to make you gay. The nasty fascist hairy brown shirt wearing skinheads then search keywords through all of that stored data. Next thing, you are in prison or worse for your data history that not long ago was acceptable. You may think that this is not a problem in this liberal day and age. Look at Poland, a huge step backwards in the way they treat sexuality in that country. As a homosexual, you are being pointed out as an enemy of the society. It might not have been a good idea to share your Pride March pictures on Facebook. Well, it was not because of the pink thong and the beer gut, frankly. But now you could be going to jail or worse for the bits with which you like to play. Oh, and I know that no governments are corrupt. Oh, but imagine what they could add to your data to get rid of you if they were corrupt. They may add a small hint of wrongdoing, or maybe a big dose of child porn. Obviously, I am pretty convinced that they wouldn't do that. I mean, we can trust them thoroughly, can't we? Can't we? Google now has the world mapped. The whole of the outside world is available to be looked at when they want to. Okay, so areas are darkened from public view. I don't think that those areas are darkened to everyone. If something is on the surface of the Earth, then it's likely that it can be spotted by satellites that sit in the sky. We have no idea how good the cameras that they use truly are. Drones now film us from the skies over most of the major cities. These things can fly for hours with very clear cameras. You might ask why the authorities want this. Well, let's say that the white car that has just been seen robbing your home has driven off. The police then are phoned, and they get to look at the film and pinpoint the car outside your home. They then rewind it and find where it drove from originally. They also then wind the car forward and see where it ends up. They may even see who gets out of it and where they go. Easy police work. Really? Also, if that information is stored, then they need to see where you were at 2 p.m. on Tuesday in June 7 years later. They have the information if they want it. Not only is the outside world being filmed and recorded all the time, but using games like Pokemon Go, they have mapped a lot of the Western indoor and outdoor world. You and your kids rush around the inside of places hunting for these stupid characters. You say it's only a game and that you're having fun and that it's causing no harm. Nope, you again are giving away lots of really important information. You are allowing them to get the measurements of the inside of your home, your work, your friend's home, the bong in the corner, the naughty artwork, the big knife from Uncle Keith in his time in the army. Who knows how much more stuff they read into in your home? You are fucking yourselves. In the 80s and 90s, we all worried that the government was spying on us. Now we even invite them. Alexa or Google devices are in your home to listen to every conversation. We pay for the bugging device to sit in the corner of our room. Siri and Bixby sit and listen for keywords on your phone. The only issue is that we do not know enough about these things to realise the damage that they are doing. They listen and offer you the material items that you talk about. So let's face it, you're fucked. 1984 was well written for the time, but little was it known how many ways in which we would be watched in the future. Oh, and that information leads to your control. Oh, and anything that we create or wish to store as data is now held in the cloud. The fucking cloud. To hold it there, you have given these companies the right to do what they want with the data, even if you have not given them that right. Do you think they are actually going to keep their promises? Fuck. Human, you are as thick as very, very unrunny pig shit. So, let's get back to Quentin after that thorough dressing down. I apologise, but please think about what you're doing with your lives. Quentin was downwind and hiding. What's that about? He was not considering me properly as a well-trained threat. Or was he? Maybe it was a ruse. Perhaps he wanted me to think that way. No, I was pretty sure he was dumb. Anyway, as I say, I apologise for the previous rant, but you should always take what an impossible to exist werewolf says seriously, eh? Oh, and I'm not sorry. You cliche sheep need this shit, apparently. Another reason why you are prey and not the predators you pretend to be. Back to the actual reason for the chapter. Quentin. Luckily, I have an invisible ghost wolf soul who can wander off and do his own thing. So I asked my posit, that's my wolf soul, to go check out what Quentin was doing. So posit set off. He was a bit grumbly. He just wanted to kill him and have it done. I had to tell him that we need to know about this one. I think he realised we needed to keep an eye on him. He had tutted, but got it. He went over to Quentin and standing behind him was feeding me back information on Quentin. Sorry, just finding it hard to think of him as a real person named Quentin. This dude is fucking massive, Fen. Fuck me, I did not realise humans got this big. He is roided out of his tits as well. So muscly, I can smell the testosterone that weeps out of the pores in his skin. He must live in the gym. He's no weapons on him and he seems stress-free. He's not nervous about you. He is completely focused on you. I think he must be on amphetamines or something. I think he's like a super soldier. He's quite good looking too. He looks like a Viking god. He makes Thor from the movies look a little pathetic. Thor's hunting Fenrir. This is actually going to be fun, Will. He might be a challenge for you. I could look through the posit's eyes and see him. He was big. As I watched and considered, he turned to face the posit. It was as if he knew that the posit was there. He looked through the posit and began speaking. I know you're there. I know you're watching me. I can tell you that I am going to kill you. Your soul werewolf thing is probably here now, somewhere close, so I know you are probably listening. I promise I will fuck you up. You think you have met me at a disadvantage. You have not. I would come here and give yourself up if I were you. I have been told to tell you you have the option for 24 hours. I am going to leave a phone here under this bin. It has one number on it. You can phone it and be taken back. If you don't, I then get to kill you. I really hope you do not take the option to come back. You will be my best challenge to date. I really think I can take you. In fact, I reckon I can take you one mano a mano. No weapons, hand to hand only. Are you game? Don't bottle out, Will. Come and fight me. We can do it now if you want. Come on, do it. He actually seemed quite excited about fighting me. Fuck this, Will. Come and kill this cunt, please, said Fen. Make it slow, please. He needs killing. You don't need me to beat this guy. Come do it for your human form. Come do it as you. I want him done. He needs to learn some respect for you, and then he needs to die slowly and painfully. He is so overconfident. Come on, Fen begged. Okay, Fen, I'm on my way, I replied. I worked my way across the street. It would be impossible for anyone to get the jump on me, but I was expecting to be swooped on by attack teams at any point. It seemed that the guy was genuine and that he did actually want to fight me. Fucking mad bastard. My posit stood staring at him as he waited. He seemed quite relaxed as he just waited for me, tapping his teeth and humming a Broadway tune I was unhappy to recognise. Eventually I got to him and he was ready to step up. I have been dreaming about this moment, Will. You are my ultimate test, and I've been waiting for this opportunity to fight and kill you. He nodded and smiled. I realise you have a warrior spirit, and like the wolf, you will have the idea of respect, the warrior's code, the Spartan ideal that you either come home on the shield or carrying it. He told me. What the fuck is this guy on? Came the posit's question in my head. I looked at him and did not reply. I just shrugged. My brother died in Afghanistan. He was from Kentucky like me. Strange accent for that. I could only think how I was questioning his accent. And then his brother was from Kentucky. So, yeah. He was probably from Kentucky too. I don't know. Maybe this guy was the stupidest person I ever met. He was rewarded. The Medal of Honor during a skirmish where he covered his units as they got out of an ambush. They had walked into a well-planned trap and 4 of his unit had been shot down before they even realized that they were in trouble. He held back and covered the entire squad as they escaped. He killed large numbers of the enemy before he himself was taken down and killed. The guy actually had tears in his eyes as he told me this. My mama was so proud of him, he sniffled. I want to make my mama proud of me as she was of him. The accent was getting better. I'm going to do that by killing you. The murderer of hundreds, maybe thousands of people. I'm gonna kill you, and in doing so, I'm gonna save a lot of innocent people. He pointed at me and paused. Are we gonna fight now? I asked him. Possit looked at me and scratched behind his ears with his back paw. Fucking boring, his telepathic message barged into my head. I got out before Quentin started to talk over me again. You know why we in Kentucky have a culture of respect? He asked. It's inbreeding, is it not? How often can you have kids with your sisters before you all become mental? I smiled. He smiled. Cute, man. No, the reason why we have this culture of respect is due to our ancestors being herders and shepherds. Okay. Are we gonna fight or what? I've got a schedule to walk to, I said, checking my watch. My family live in the Appalachian Mountains, he said, and then paused again, seeming to wait for my answer again. Okay, congratulations. I have no idea why that matters, I replied. Are we fighting? I asked again. You uneducated fucking limeys have no idea. If I told you I come from a little town called Harlan, would that make you realize? He asked. No. Still fucking clueless about all this shite you're talking. Are we fighting or are you trying to take me home to fuck me? Cute again, he said. Okay, maybe I was right that you want to fuck me. You're hot, so just ask nicely, I smiled. Shut the fuck up, you fucking faggot, and listen to me. I'm from Harlan. That's a tough place to live, brother. Huge mountains with flat tops, no farming crops there, Will. He paused again. Okay, I said as I shrugged again at the Possit and laughed. Just fucking kill him, Will, please, was my Possit's request. Shit, man. Do I have to spell it out for you? 8 families established Harlan Town. They were from your neck of the woods. You know, shite Britain. Great Britain. Fucking shite Britain. I think that he was trying to hurt me by belittling my country. I don't think he realised that the last thing I cared about was my country. Let's fight? I kind of half-hearted asked. The place was really hard to live in. No crops grow there. The only thing they could do was keep pigs and herd sheep. Do you know what that means? He asked me. I was now just getting mesmerised by the fact that this guy was monologuing me and I was letting him. You have something to do in the evenings if you're lonely? I asked him. Cute, man. No, it means that if someone comes along and steals or kills your herd, that you die. It's not like growing a crop. The attackers do not have to spend a long time actually reaping the crop to steal it. They just take your animals, he said very forthrightly. Oh, right, yeah, I get it. Nope. I still don't have a fucking clue. Where is this going? Well, y'all heard of the Howards and the Turners? He asked. Possit jumped in at this point. Y'all? Fucking y'all? Fucking y'all! Please just kill him. How can anyone really use the term y'all? I laughed out loud at the Possit, and he laughed too. He was so fucking funny when he was angry. Well, at first he was funny, then he was all about, blood and shit. We laughed together for a while and we forgot about the fact that Quentin was stood there. Ahem, he coughed to get my attention. Yes, sorry, Quentin. No, I smiled. You all, y'all, you're all urinal, piped in the Possit. He's really funny, isn't he, Fen? He just makes me laugh all the time. I ended up sniggering again. Well, they were families who would rather die for respect than look weak. Proper warrior culture right there. All comes down to the shepherding of the herd, and I am the human's shepherd for their herd. I want to fight you for just respect. I do not mind if I win or lose, just like my ancestors. What matters is how I acquit myself in the end, he sneered. Hold it now, Quentin, are we fighting now? I asked, looking at him and then the Possit and then shrugging again. The bastard continued. I stood there with my mouth open as he did so. I should have just mauled him there and then. I come from a long line of warriors, always willing to test themselves and fight clean in order to find out who is the best. You are my biggest test, so let's fight like men. No weapons, no wolf, just you and me fighting to the death. If you beat me, which you won't, I will die in the knowledge that I have tried my best and fought fair and with honor. If I beat you, which I will, I then go on and protect humanity from the likes of you. I also know there is more of you bitches, so I can get to kill them as well. He pointed at me and grinned. I said, and yawned. I was getting bored, to be honest. Are we, fighting yet? I asked. Please? He strode forward, covering the short distance between us. I tensed up and prepared myself for the fight. He stopped, sniffed and stopped a few feet in front of me. I feel we should follow the Japanese tradition here and announce who we are and the things we have accomplished in battle. They used to stand at the front of their armies and tell the opposing warriors who they were and what they'd achieved to show the enemy why they should be respected. He then stood, hand on heart, like he was going to sing his national anthem or something. My name is Quentin Turner. Quentin T. Turner. One of a long line of Turners from the state of Kentucky. I've been a soldier all my life, fighting for the greatest country on earth. I am the most decorated man of our services. I have 137 recorded kills. I've been in 7 different war zones on 3 different continents, and I'm about to kill a fucking werewolf. He then went into silence. He stood looking at me. He stood and waited. And then I realised, oh, right, okay, sorry. I'm Wil Beast. The posit looked embarrassed for me. He started laughing at me. In my head, I was telling him to shut up. I did the army thing, and I killed loads of people and did other things, and some other stuff, I said, shrugging at him. I then waited to see his next move. Surprisingly, he started to take off his jacket and remove all his weaponry. I mean, it was quite seductive in the way he was doing it. He had guns and knives and batons and grenades and stuff I didn't recognise. I was actually unsure how he fucking walked carrying all the weight of that weaponry. He now stood before me in some sort of Krav Maga crouch and said, "Now you, wolf boy." I undid my jacket and reached inside. I took out my Glock 19. It felt nice in my hand, and I spent some time looking at it, then at him in his dumb stance. I thought. I shrugged again at the posit. Here's a stupid prick, Wil? Fen asked. I looked at Quentin again as he rolled his hands into what he thought was some kind of boxing technique thing. Wait a minute, Quentin, I asked him. Do you know what the Mongols did to the Japanese? You know, when those generals stood in front of the Japanese army and announced who they were and their past exploits, I asked him. He stood up straight and shook his head. I shot him 8 times in the chest and twice in the head. He fell to the floor, a dead mess. Posit just stood next to him, his mouth open and incredulous. Why'd you not fight him? I don't fight, stupid, I replied. I hate all that warrior culture bullshit. I think like the Mongols, if I can kill you easily and without injury, I don't care about honour. I mean, what did he think I was going to do? We both looked down at the cooling body on the ground. He was pretty stupid, Wil? Said the posit. Yup. Let's go and do something stupid again, I said to him. That's the end of the episode. Thanks for listening. Love you lots. If you'd like to give me some cash, there's a link that says support the show in the description, and that would be lovely. You're all great, and thanks very much. Bye.